Hey, good morning, everybody. BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so Russell Westbrook has deleted all of his Laker posts from his socials, and simultaneously, Buddy Yield followed LeBron on IG, from what I understand. I don't know how much validity that second one holds, but the first one's being floated around everywhere. Everybody's reacting to it. I don't react much to this kind of stuff. I felt the same way when I heard that Kyler Murray had stopped following the Arizona Cardinals on everything. Uh, I've seen players unfollow people. Then look at Julius Randle when he did it earlier in the season with the Knicks. It's halfway through the season, he was still playing for them, and he deleted them. So obviously, that means players unhappy, or one of two things, either three things actually. The player's unhappy once change is made, players unhappy or once out, or uh, the writing's on the wall with management and all of the people behind the scenes that run all of the socials, and they know what's about to happen. And for these two representative athletes, they're taking care of business as it's coming down to them, which I think is probably more true than either of the first two. I don't even know Russell Westbrook's whole obvious get down or what have you, but I would imagine he doesn't run his own socials, just like most superstar athletes and superstars. Period. If they run their socials to a degree, it's probably that, but they don't fully run it. They probably have teams for that. So I would imagine in Russell's case, that maybe, I think that's a logical way of looking at it, possibly. But I haven't heard any official reports, of course, so I don't know what those guys got going on. But it's just speculation on my part. Um, I guess the question is, how do I feel about that? I think you already know. If you follow me, you already know. I'm very, very done with everything that has to do with last year's team, except for the youngsters. That's about it. Everything that has to do with that team, including the people that put it together, I want gone. How they go, how they feel when they go, all of that it does matter, because I don't want people leaving this place with a bad taste in their mouth. It ain't personal. It ain't bad feelings. It's just clean house time. And I think anybody who goes through what the Laker fans just went through should feel something like that themselves. If it's not a full rebuild they want, they definitely want their team to just be better, and they understand that some changes would probably have to be made in order for that to happen. So we're ready. We're ready. Regardless if we love LeBron and the big three, or if we are mad and ready to move on, we're definitely ready to see our team be better, and we know it ain't going to be that way if we don't see something happen. So those of us who follow very closely kind of loosely understand the cap, I guess. I don't understand that stuff at all, to be honest with you. But as I try to condition myself continually to be mindful of an existence of something called a cap, as that continues to be the case, I look at that and I say, okay, this is how it has to be managed. I keep that in the forefront of my mind at all times. And as you guys know, 3 max contracts in my mind is just you have a very small margin for error. And I think the Lakers need to move on from that. So do the Nets, so do the Bucks. There's a couple teams that just need to move on from big contracts that they have attached to their big superstars, so that they can condense that lineup, get some more inexpensive, high upside, high producing pieces that can make it so that their team is overall better. If you don't have depth, you're no good. So that's my opinion. I think the evidence is showing us that, and the Lakers need to build with sustainability and flexibility, and being able to be flexible on the basketball court as well. You can't just have one-dimensional players. You can't have guys that can only do a few things. You got to have a bunch of tall guys that can do a lot of things. And if you're not looking to put together a team that can do that, you're just wasting your time. Straight up. It's cool to have small guys who can really, really play, but if they can't really, really play, they need to be really, really sitting. This is the era of big people once again. This is not last decade. This ain't where a bunch of point guards running around shooting threes and nobody's calling the whistle. And when they do call the whistle, it's a phantom whistle and nobody's playing defense. Nah, that was yesterday. Erase what you think you know about that era. It's over. Now we need to think about how we're going to move forward with all these big, long, lengthy guys, these centers, these power forwards, these Herb Joneses and Dorian Finney-Smiths and Grant Williams, that are literally the bench players on these teams, but are players that are going to make life hard on the players who've been in this league for the last 15 years, because they ain't have to deal with these type of dudes. That's a league the next generation's gonna get used to. It's not the league the previous generation's been accustomed to. So that's what I've been seeing for the last couple of days. And I think the Lakers kind of get that. I think that they should get that at this point and should be looking to develop something like that over the next several years. So I'm not short-sighted as it pertains to this team. I do not expect to make the playoffs. I do not expect to compete for championships, probably for at least another 3 years. And I'm giving them that type of window because I do believe that's real, man. I do. I don't believe the Lakers are going to effectively put together a championship squad next season. Do I think they believe they can? Yes. I believe they think they can. Or at least some of the people in the organization probably truly believe that they're capable of doing this. But I think that's the problem. A lot of ambition, not a lot of attention to detail. And if you're paying attention to detail, then you understand the only way to truly build in this league right now is sustainably. Short fluff won't get it done. I don't care how much money you make, how many regular season games you play. Once it gets time to strategizing, if them dudes don't have enough help, if they don't have enough interchangeable pieces that can give them rest and give them looks of a different nature, they are going to lose. So if your goal is to make a lot of money, you can slap together another 3 max contracts and we can do this again. But you're just gonna have another year of fan base unhappy with you. I think the Lakers have a misunderstanding about what the fans want from them in some cases. I think they think we want our team to be a championship caliber team every season at all cost. I think a lot of fans who don't understand what it takes to build a team, of course they're gonna want that. And once the information comes to them fully that they actually can't compete that way, then they're gonna want to change, just like the rest of us who are savvy fans. You know, we're just knowledgeable. That's why we are not going for certain things that the Lakers organization throw at us. We're not bandwagoners. We understand what the field looks like. We understand how other teams put their teams together. We understand what pieces make sense and don't. And we don't like the idea that you're going to sell us yet another bad team that is top heavy just because it got LeBron James and Anthony Davis attached to it. I'm sorry. That's just not going to cut it. We're all looking at these playoffs and understanding what it takes. We're looking at really good teams, really great players not doing nothing because they just run into a bunch of kids who just don't care and are playing better than them. So if we can't get our hands on some of those, who cares about Russell Westbrook or any of that? If Russell could help us get those players, that's how it has to be. If he's not going to help us get those players, then he's a problem. And it needs to be gotten rid of based on his contract and his style of play last year. There is no nice way of putting it. Russell was a bad Laker. He was a bad Laker on the court, and a lot of people deemed his attitude bad off the court. I thought his attitude, personally, was a reflection of the hard times, I guess is what I would say. You can't expect a man to live in delirium and oblivion when things suck. He's going to react to it as such. You know, a lot of people could be positive and stuff like that, but the majority of people are going to be upset when people are screaming their name. Yo, your mistake, your mistake, your mistake. Take a look at it. Every single day, it's what Russell went through. He ain't going to want to come back here, and I don't blame him. I wouldn't want him back, and we don't want him back. So the feeling is absolutely mutual. Nobody should be upset at him deleting anything off of socials in regards to the Lakers. He should be. He's basically a free agent and should be looking to connect with a new fan base as soon as possible so he can get his early start on his next season. That's reality. I don't live in ESPN fantasy world where we only talk about the narratives. We'll discuss the narratives as it pertains to being entertained. We'll discuss them as it pertains to the sake of argument. But what we will not do is act like we want someone to stay that we're actually looking forward to leaving. If Russell Westbrook happens to feel good about leaving, we should feel good about that. There's no fight. There's no struggle. There's no him saying, nah, you ain't trading me. There's no him saying, look, the Lakers don't want me. I can't. Ain't none of that. He's saying, thank you. Our time has moved on. Hell, hopefully this means he'll waive his $42 million contract. $47 million rather. Which doesn't bode well for the Westbrook family. I don't think Mrs. Westbrook would be very pleased with him, or his mom and family would be very pleased with him. But us Laker fans, yeah, bro. You leave us with $47 million in cap space and call it even. We're all happy about everything that just happened with you. You leave that money on the table. You did more good for us than anything wrong that you may have done in that season. Trust you me, we need that. But he ain't gonna do that. He needs that too. That money's real, and I wouldn't turn it down even if I couldn't make a shot. I don't care what you think. I got kids, and that's what's up. I'm keeping my money. So he's gonna do that, and then we're gonna trade him to the Pacers, hopefully. Then we're gonna bring back Buddy Yield. We're gonna bring back Malcolm Brogdon. Hopefully, we can add one of those bigs that they are not gonna keep, like Jalen Smith or Isaiah Jackson, of whom we drafted, by the way. I want one of those players too, but I'm that's not something I think we have the leverage to ask for. At the end of the day, if they want to give us Brogdon and give us Buddy Yield, we should be very, very, very thankful that they'd be willing to do that. And then they can take Russell Westbrook's contract. He will not play a single game for the Pacers. They're going to waive him, and he'll probably end up signing with someone who will take a chance. And I definitely believe he'll be better for them than he was for us. No question about it. He'll get back to play. He'll get back to getting triple doubles. He will. It ain't going to be to the degree of heavy scoring, in my opinion. But once he gets the ball back in his hands, he's going to get back to being who he is. Those turnovers were always there. I think a lot of that went wrong with them turnovers was the style of play that we ran, leaving the defense honest on him and not enough options to be a threat to give him any space. A lot of that, coupled with the Lakers, brought forth what looked like some anxiety to me, and I think that left him with can't get right itis, or whatever you call that in your world, when you are so focused on yourself making mistakes that you can't focus on what it is that you need to be doing, and you make more mistakes because of it. I think that's what he was going through. The Laker bright lights was too much for him for a plethora of reasons. It's just so evident he can't be a Laker. It's too much for the man. So that's what it is. Anybody that's mad at him for wanting to move on from this situation is not looking at the situation clearly. I don't believe. So let him go. Thank you, Russell, for fighting through the season. You played a lot of games for us. Didn't play as well as we'd like, but we had some good moments. Let it be where it is. He got a chance to experience purple and gold. This is what it was. Sorry it wasn't great, but under different circumstances, we know it would have been. At the end of the day, no matter how bad he played, at the end of the season, he did pick his game up. And the rest of the team looked better around him, and I think that was a product of his success as well. When you bring in the William Gabriels and Stanley Johnsons, you know what I mean? That gives him more of a cushion defensively. It gives him more cushions as opposed to him trying to over-dribble and ultimately turning the ball over and stuff like that. The team around him wasn't very good. And let that never be something that people forget. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.